That's good wine. Whatever that is, that's really good wine.
I'm Matthew Horkey. For the last 7 years, I've traveled around the world tasting thousands of wines annually in search of the most unique, exciting, and expensive bottles on the planet. And it's on like Donkey Kong, so we have Germany versus Greece, two countries where white wines dominate the total production. When you go to Germany, 66% of all vineyard plantings are white wine grapes, whereas in Greece, 70% of the wine produced in total is white wine as well. I got both of the country's flagship white grapes. First, we have Riesling, which covers nearly a quarter of all of Germany's vineyards. Germany is the 4th largest producer in Europe. So that means there's a lot of Riesling. In fact, German Riesling makes up for 40% of all Riesling produced around the world. And then we have the other darling variety of Greece, Assyrtiko. It's the 3rd most planted variety in Greece, mostly comes from the island of Santorini, although there are nice Assyrtikos planted throughout the country like the one we have right here. Riesling for me is the greatest variety in the world. I like it young, I like it old, I like it dry, and I like it sweet. When I was a kid, I was addicted to lemonade, and I think Riesling is almost like lemonade for adults. The producer I have here is the Schloss Johannisberg. This is the Gelblack Riesling 2020. This is their entry-level dry Riesling. In the US, it comes in around 25 bucks. In Europe, it's a little bit cheaper. Comes from the region of the Rheingau, which is next to Frankfurt. Incredibly steep slopes. I've been there several times. Rheingau Riesling is very mineral-driven. Schloss Johannisberg's claim to fame is its incredibly old estate. It claims to be the oldest Riesling estate in the world. Also, there's a legend that late harvest botrytized wines were actually invented at Schloss Johannisberg. The legend has it as they were passing out all these raisins, these botrytized grapes to all the peasants, and then the peasants were making fantastic wines out of it. Can you imagine that? You're giving away all these grapes that you think are junk, and all the peasants are making wines that are way better than yours? Yeah, you're probably pretty upset. Give me those grapes back. The challenger, if we have the Kir-Yianni Assyrtiko 2020. Both the wines are 2020. I tried to keep to the same vintage here. This also comes in around 25 bucks. I've had some world-class wines made from Assyrtiko. The Assyrtikos from the island of Santorini are really hot right now, selling at big time prices. A lot of people in the wine world are starting to know about them. They're compared to Rieslings. Maybe it's because of the high acidity, the mineral notes. There are some slight floral notes as well, so I want to see how they compare. This does not come from the island of Santorini. This comes from the north. This comes from a little region called Florina. I know the greatest examples I've tasted are from Santorini. That being said, the greatest Assyrtiko wine that I've ever had is the Biblia Chora Olivos, which is half Assyrtiko, half Semillon barrel fermented. It's also from the mainland of Greece. Oh, it's so good. I've tasted some Assyrtikos, especially aged ones, that really reminded me of Riesling, but I've never tasted them side by side at a blind tasting, so I'm looking forward to it. I really don't know what to expect. Like I said, I picked the Rheingau because it's more mineral driven. Should match up with the Assyrtiko, but you never know. For tasting the wines, I'm using my Gabriel Glas Standart edition. These are great universal glasses. I also have the gold edition, but I feel like the Standart's a little bit more sturdier. That's why I use them a little bit more often. I'll put a link in the description box below. Remember, anything you purchase with that link, it really helps the channel, so I thank you in advance. Enough of me yapping. Let's taste some wine. Assyrtikos are climbing up in price, so I think it's really cool to see other parts of Greece produce them at a much cheaper price. I mean, they're starting to get up there. We're starting to get to 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks. Riesling, on the other hand, is one of the world's great values in terms of high quality white wine, especially when you're in Germany. I just got back from judging at the Mundus-Vini 2022 in Germany. I picked up a few wines. It just still baffles my mind how inexpensive Riesling is in the country. If you really want to learn about wines, you should be tasting 2 wines at a time so you can compare and contrast. Let's start here on the left. Okay, this already has a little bit of a petrol type nose, a little bit of kind of diesel fuel, white flour, a lot of minerals, like almost like you're smashing a bunch of chalks, a bunch of rocks, limestone together, and then you smell it. That's exactly what this smells like. Lemon, white apple, white flower. Smells really good, actually, really good. Now here's the thing. A lot of people associate petrol with Riesling Riesling. However, when Riesling's on the younger side, in terms of German Riesling, they see that as a fault often. That's actually sunburn in the grapes. Those petrol notes really shouldn't develop in German Riesling unless there's been time in the bottle. However, when you get to other parts of the world, like USA, Australia especially, those Rieslings, when young, have some of that petrol notes. So maybe this is the Assyrtiko. I don't know. We'll see. That's good wine. Whatever that is, that's really good wine. Dry Riesling can be pretty full bodied on the palate. And you know, dry Riesling can be confusing for a lot of people because Riesling has such high acidity that in Germany, by German law, if you have 9 grams per liter of acidity, you can have up to 9 grams per liter of residual sugar, because a little bit more sugar brings down the perception of acidity. And that can be a good thing, otherwise it can start ripping off your enamel. That extra residual sugar adds some body, makes it feel more creamier in the mouth, so maybe I think that this is the Riesling. Let's smell number 2. Number 2 does not have the petrol notes. Mineral, white flower type notes, white apple. It's not as intense. This wine here on the left is just a little bit more intense. This is still good. This is still very good. It's just not to the level this one here on the left is. If you have a fresh cut flower in a vase, it smells different than a flower that you cut, put in the vase, and leave it there for a few days. This smells like the fresh cut flower. On the palate, this is good. It just doesn't, it's not as big and bodied. It just doesn't have the level of complexity that this wine has. And that's the thing when you're tasting wine side by side. You could think, if I would have tasted this wine first, I thought this is outstanding, but I tasted this one first. So in contrast, I'm not as excited about the one on the right. This one's really good. Let's go to the reveal, shall we? I think this is the Riesling. I think this is the Assyrtiko. This comes in at about 25 bucks in the US. I saw it in Germany for 14 euros, so it's about 15 bucks. This is outstanding killer wine. This is like 91, maybe even 91 plus type of wine at that kind of price. I'm gonna say go seek this out. Let's see what it is. It is the Riesling Schloss Johannisberg Gelblack Riesling 2020. Outstanding. So, I know right here on the right, it is the Kir-Yianni Assyrtiko. Good wine. It's just, this wine showed so great that this one was kind of left in the dust, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Both these wines can go excellent with fish, shellfish. This has a little bit bigger body, so I think it could even go with some cream chicken pork type of dishes. Do you like Riesling? Do you like Assyrtiko? Do you have any favorite producers? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon. I'll take this one right now.